Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my Dune Awakening content. So today folks, I'm going to be talking to you about something that is going to help you not lose your mind whenever you're playing Dune Awakening. Something that can really get new players down at the start is inventory management. Inventory management can become such an issue so quickly that you need to understand how to deal with it. Some of the best practices, in other words, to be able to allow you to deal with your inventory in a way that does not cause you to have to spend your whole day of game time just sorting through your inventory and moving stuff around, because you'll quickly find out that if you do not develop a system and if you do not have a plan for how to deal with all the loot and all the gear you get in this game is a very loot and gear and item intensive game. It's a survival style game where you collect gear, you collect loot, you collect tools, you collect resources, you collect everything. You're going to quickly find that it's going to overwhelm you and cause you to spend the majority of your time playing the game just dealing with your inventory. And unless that's just something you want, and if you play this game for it to be an inventory management simulator, then you need to have a plan, okay? And I'm going to give you two tactics that are very good in conjunction with each other that will help you learn how to deal with your inventory a lot better so that you can spend more time focusing on playing the game and have less stress, because everything you have in your inventory and in your boxes and all that stuff is all sorted out nice and neat for you. So one of the things smart players will do is they'll set up a bunch of boxes that are specifically called like go boxes, okay? They're specifically for adventuring. I call them my adventuring boxes. Basically, what I do is I have a bunch of empty boxes in a certain spot where I always come back after my loot runs, and I dump all my stuff in these boxes. So let's say I was coming back from a loot run right now and I had all this stuff in my inventory. Now, normally you're going to have a full inventory because this game gets you lots of components, lots of gear, lots of stuff to deal with, and you're going to have a full inventory every time you come back. Well, I would walk up to one of these boxes right here in this row of all these empty boxes I have, and I would put everything in that box and dump it off. That way, I can wait until later when I actually have time to think about what I want to keep and what I don't, and where I want things to go. Because if I'm in a hurry running around with friends, you want to capitalize on that time that you have with your friends. There's going to be a lot of downtime where you can do some base mom stuff or some base management type stuff where you work through your inventory, you move stuff around, you build, you do whatever. But on those moments where you actually have time that you can spend with your friends, you don't want to get caught being in your inventory all day long while you're trying to figure out what's going on in game and doing things together with your friends. Right now, I have these boxes set up after a loot run, and there was somebody came in my base, one of my guild members, and when I get a bunch of loot, I'd run in here and dump it off, okay? And then I could run back out and go get with my buddies and hit that dungeon again or whatever it is we're doing, and I'm not caught in my base for the next 30 minutes trying to make sure that this item gets in this box and that item gets in that box and that item gets in that box, because that will slow down your adventuring. So you want to have, smart tip number one, I guess I would call it, would be to have a section where you just dump loot off until you can deal with it later in your base work type gameplay times when you don't want to focus on adventuring. Now, the next thing that's critical for players of Dune Awakening to understand is that this piece of machinery right here is going to be your friend. The recycler is going to be one of the most important pieces of equipment that you have in your base, because if you play this game a lot, you're going to quickly get overloaded with gear and armor and weapons that you just don't want anymore. Yes, you can sell some on the auction house, and that may be a good path for a lot of you. If you know what's good and you know what players are actually looking for, you can make a lot of Solari that way. But for the majority of us, when we get those tier 2, tier 3 drops, tier 3 components for buggies and sand bikes and that kind of thing, we've outgrown that stuff. And like me right now, I'm focusing on tier 5 buggies, tier 5 ornithopters, tier 5 scouts, tier 5 assault choppers. I'm working on all that kind of stuff, and I just don't need any of those T3 components or armor that I've outgrown. Like right now, my current set that I'm working on is a Mercenary Heavy Pants set and the Mercenary Heavy Gear set. That's where I'm at. So that means I don't need any of this Dune Man stuff anymore because I've outgrown that set. So rather than let a bunch of boxes pile up with those armor over and over and over again, you're going to come to this device called the Recycler, and you're going to get rid of that stuff, okay? What that's going to allow you to do is that's going to allow you to free up your inventory storage in your base so that you can relax and chill out and only store the items that are important, which will make your gameplay so much less stressful. But you're also going to do another side benefit for yourself, and that is regain components that you're going to need to craft things later. Because I'm not going to lie, things like particle capacitors and stuff like that are going to hold you back. And you're going to have to constantly go farm to get more of those because you need some to be able to make this thing that you're trying to make. But if you're steadily recycling stuff that you don't need, you're going to build these components up and have them around for when you need them to craft. Now, one thing you want to take in mind, though, when you look at your inventory and how the recycler handles it, is the recycler is going to look at everything that can be recycled that's in your backpack. Right now, we're looking in our backpack, and it will look in this backpack for stuff to break down. It is not going to look at stuff that's on your hotbar and your gear that you have equipped. So keep that in mind, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't want to recycle that because I think that's the Holtzman MK5 shield I have on. Well, just know that it's going to look in your inventory. Now, what that does mean, though, is that there are going to be times when you have items that are part of your kit that you just take with you everywhere you go. Like for me, I always have darts because I use guns. I always have a repair tool because I use vehicles and it's stupid to leave without a repair tool. I always have a little bit of wire because I always want to have some handy when I need to make a repair out on the road. I always have bandages, that type of thing. These items like that can be broken down, so the recycling machine is going to look at that plus all these items and put them in a list for you. So you want to be cautious of what's in your inventory so you don't accidentally deconstruct your MK5 welding torch, which is really important. You don't want to lose that. So you pay attention to that when you're choosing what items you want to recycle. But in my inventory, I have a bunch of Dune Man stuff, and I want to get rid of it because I don't need it anymore. And you'll see that when I recycle it, I'm going to get plasteel, microflora fiber back, and armor plating. Both of those are key components in a lot of crafts that you do, so you're going to want to get them back. And you can see it puts it in the inventory of the recycling machine, and it will store those components for you, and then you can do what you want. Now, you can set the circuits on a device to allow it to input from a certain area and output to another area, but that's a whole nother animal. I'm not really going to get into that today. What I want to just focus on today is just the act of keeping your inventory under control so that you can relax and play the game and not stress out. And in the process of that, you're going to get rid of all these things you no longer need. Like me, I do not need this stuff. I do not need this. I'm past this, so I'm going to get rid of it all. Okay. And you get down to where they are at basic components, then you want to be careful because you don't want to break these down. You want these to be in their component state so you can use them to actually craft more things. And now over here in the menu, you'll see that the stuff that we broke it down into is over here waiting for us. So I'm going to just take them all because I want to show you another little trick that will help you with your inventory management. And that is when you have a storage box that you have the recycling machine set up to deposit items into or take from, or you just want to work it yourself. The way it works is if you have a actual stack of the item in there, you can do this neat little trick. This is one of the quality of life things that they've added to the game that makes it so cool to be able to manage your inventory. And it's something I definitely want to pass on to you. So now we have a stack of all of the particular items that we have in our inventory that we could put in there. Right now I just have one of these, so I can't make a stack here and there. So it'll end this too, so it'll just stay in the inventory. But the way storage works is you can have stacks, up to 45 stacks until it's full, or you can have volume until it's full. So, for example, we could fill this box up with just 6 or 7 slots filled if it was something like ore, stacks of ore, like 500 each or whatever. It would fill the volume up very quickly, and it would get to 1,750 and be full, and we would still have all this empty space, but we couldn't put any more in it until we took some volume out. Or we might have 45 stacks of different items, and then when they stack up to the point that they're heavy enough to fill the volume, or they're full stacks and can't hold more quantities, then the box is basically full. But for right now, I want to show you a quick little inventory hack that they put in the game, and that's quick deposit. If I am going to hit quick deposit, you'll see all the items in my inventory that have a stack represented in the box. Boom, they pop into the box. And now, when I look at my inventory, it's nice and clean, and I don't have anything in there except for the items that I only had onesie twosies of that I couldn't actually set up in there. I could have put that scrap metal in there, but I didn't see it. And now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go back and adventure. I'm ready to work on other stuff. I'm ready to do whatever, and I've been freed up from the stress of constant inventory management by the recycler. So the recycler is going to be your friend. It's going to be one of your best friends playing Dune Awakening. I want to make sure you understand that, because this game can get stressful really fast with the inventory, and you'll find yourself bogged down and not even able to adventure and play the game because you feel like you have to stay in your base and move stuff around all day. Now, there are a few things that the developers could really add for us that would make quality of life so much better. And one of those things would be able for players to name storage containers, because right now, when I walk up to this storage container, I don't know what's in it until I actually click the button or hit the key on my keyboard to open it up. If I could go in here, and if this box was components, I could name it components, and I would know that those are the components in there. Or I could name it guns, or I could name it sandbike parts, or I could name it buggy parts, or armor, or whatever the stacking is in that box that you have. To be able to name it would be amazing, and that would help us out as players be able to deal with the onslaught of inventory management that we're required to do to play this game. So, but anyway, I just wanted to point that out to you and help you understand that, so that hopefully it could enhance your gameplay, help you have a better experience in Dune Awakening. And if you found this content entertaining or informative in any way, and you would like to be informed when I make more content on Dune Awakening, which I will be doing quite regularly. I love this game, and I'm going to make content on it for years. Think about subscribing and liking my content so that it can be pushed out to a wider audience. I currently have a milestone I'm trying to reach of 5,000 subscribers, and I would give anything if you would partner with me and help me reach that goal. Dune Awakening is an amazing game, and I love it. There goes one of my buddies on a thopter right now. That's cool. Dune Awakening is an amazing game, and I love it, and I want to play it for years, and I would love it if you would join with me in that endeavor. Thank you for watching my content. I really appreciate you. I'll see you in the next Dune Awakening video coming soon. Peace.